Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Joining me tonight, Daniel Lim, Leon, Hamada, and I'm sure a few other people will probably jump on in a while. It is the Christmas time though, so probably numbers are going to be a bit lower than usual. Hope all you guys are well. Dan, I'll start with you. Lee Saunders been postponed twice before Saturday. I was talking to a few people on Saturday, especially Danny Yankee, friend of the show, who's in the chat most of the times, and he's very active on Twitter, and he was saying he was really looking forward to the fight. And I said to him, I hope it's not, but I got a feeling it's going to be a shit fight, just because a lot of the energy left it with the two postponements. Both guys have been very respectful of each other. There's not been a lot of shit talking, and just for me, the fight was very disappointing. What was your thoughts on it, Dan?
In the fight, I felt like, and I know me, you, and Hamada talked a little bit before the fight. If anything, I think the two knockdowns from Saunders, the closest that you could have scored it in favor of Lee was a draw. So I think the scorecards were accurate. I think they got it right. But yeah, just the output, just wasn't enough in my opinion. And, it's for me, I always like when two, southpaws get in the ring with one another, because I think it's so fascinating in how they deal with each other, because they're so used to being the awkward, out of the box type of fighter when they're training in their gyms. But with this one, it was just so much passivity in the fight. And like you mentioned, Cam, I thought for the longest time that it was going to turn into fireworks after that third round, and nothing came into fruition. So. And I don't know where they go from here. I mean, congrats to Saunders, but I hope this doesn't turn into another situation where they don't fight Triple G. And it already looks like, from what Saunders said, he's telling what's his face, Eubank Jr. to match Triple G for a rematch. It doesn't look good.
Yep. Hamada, your thoughts? I know you said you were quite intrigued by the fight. I used the analogy before the show started, saying it was almost like one of those fireworks in a box that you light from and then run for a distance, and it goes off for about 2-3 minutes. The reason why I say that is because it sparked up in round 3, but apart from that one round, it was just like the rest of the fireworks didn't ignite, and the fight for me was very disappointing. Too much gesturing, too much posing, too many feints, and not enough action. Only maybe the third and the last round, it seemed where Lee actually went for it in the last round, but before that, his output was so slow. He was barely throwing the left hand, southpaw left hand, and just very disappointing fight for me.
Yeah, it wasn't a great fight. It wasn't a good fight. It was quite poor at times. I think it's down to Billy Joe Saunders. I think he neutralized all these weapons. He took away his jab from him a little quite early, and he was establishing his own jab up and down to the body as well. Even his double jab was good. You're right, Lee wasn't throwing the left hand, I think, because it seemed he had his left hand in quite a weird position where it wasn't by his side, it was a bit quite wide out, and it looked like every time that he wanted to shoot it off, Billy Joe would just take that half step back. So Billy could see it coming from a mile off, so he was a bit hesitant to throw it. Billy Joe took the right hook away as well. I don't think Billy Joe took a right hook from Lee in the whole fight. So really and truly, it turned into Billy Joe Saunders kind of fight, which ended up being quite a boring fight. You're right, Lee's output was very low, especially in the first 6-7 rounds. I said if the fight continues at this pace while the fight was on Twitter, that Billy Joe's not going to gas, because nobody's throwing. So how's Billy Joe going to get tired if he ain't got nothing to worry about? How's he going to lose gas, really? And
but he did.
That's what happened. He slowed down. It was
he slowed down a
inactivity.
lot.
No, I don't think
inactivity.
it. I don't think it did, Leon. I actually
I
watched
think it was just more inactivity. I don't think it was him slowing down.
No, I watched the fight today, and like Billy Joe barely had a sweat on him. That pace of that fight was perfect. That pace of the fight was perfect for Billy Joe, and like
Yeah, exactly. That's
it was, but I still didn't think he was. I still don't trust that gas tank. He was blowing. I watched it again today as well.
I'm a bit of a Billy Joe hater, but like Hamada used the right term that he did neutralize Lee and made the fight more of Billy Joe's fight, which you have to say it is impressive. And the fact that he's beat Andy Lee, who's a world level guy, he beat Eubank Jr. And before that he's beat John Ryder. Before that he was undefeated. Blackwell, like fucking resume wise, man, the guy's up there. You can't really deny it. But Leon, what did you think of the fight? And I think you're more on my side. I know people in the chat are kind of disagreeing, saying that we're shitting on the fight a bit too much. But
shitting on the fight a bit too much. Oh, I mean, I thought I was going to have to be like, I'm going to have to bite my tongue. It was a horrible fight. I thought, really, apart from that one round. How many even rounds could you have given?
You could give probably about 5 even rounds, probably
5 or 6, easy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I gave 1.
I mean, sorry? I never do give them, but I could have given them all over the shop.
That's true. I always try and give a round one way or the other, but there was 2 rounds which I could have give even, and I rarely give even rounds. Yeah.
Like there was one that I just didn't know what to do. Like if I gave it to someone, I felt as though I'd be biased, so I just gave it a draw. One round, though. It was one round that I did. The rest I was just giving it either way, and
but I think Go on. Sorry.
Now, I was just gonna say, I thought the first 6 rounds was easy to score. I gave Lee 1 of the first 6. I think it was the round after he got knocked down because Billy Joe didn't throw a punch in that round.
Yeah, he took the round off, didn't he? Yep.
And then from round 6 onwards, it became a bit more difficult to score.
What were you going to say, Leo?
I just think Hamada picked up on it that Billy Joe's like kind of gauging of distance was fantastic. I don't think did Lee really land on him clean apart from maybe towards the end of the fight.
Good point. He rolled most of the punches, didn't he? Because he was stepping backwards.
But he was missing him by like millimeters. But I mean, that's the amateur. We often get into this amateur stuff, but that's the kind of bonus of amateur fighting, isn't it? Not getting hit like that, that gauging a distance. The resume looks really good. I'm still not a big believer. Like I think. But he keeps proving me wrong. But I don't know why I never turned into a fan. But there's something about him. He fights to a game plan very well. Yep. There's a lot of positives, but where does he go from here? Like, Warren's going to just feed him a load of area level fighters. Like, we'll get to that nightmare fight with Liam Smith. But I mean, that's my worry is that who does he fight? How many good fighters are there in this division for him to fight?
Warren's always a guy that wants
get over here and pay for.
Exactly, Warren's always a guy that wants to fight over here, and the major decent middleweights are over in the States, so he's not going to pay for them to come over here, and especially the good ones that might threaten to take the title away. So unfortunately, it's the WBO belt, the Warren belt. It's just gonna. I was thinking about that as well. Like, most of his champions of Warren are WBO champions.
Oh, they all are.
Exactly.
But that guy was on the undercard, wasn't he? That Tommy Langford from the Midlands.
Yeah,
I can see that. That would be one.
Yeah. That's definitely
most of the other British level fighters. So he's going to go across and find some no-mark French, Belgian middleweights we've never heard of.
Yeah,
it's what Warren's done. This is what Warren's done. He done it with Joe Calzaghe. He done it with Ricky Baz. He done it with so many WBO champions. He will find some, poor opponents that are somehow ranked in the top 10.
And Billy Joe doesn't want to go down this route that is the thing that tarnishes the Sir Joe haters can always turn to his resume, and it's because Warren could never put the money on the table.
And the other issue is
so it's held against Joe, and I don't think it's always his.
Yeah, it's not fair.
He's punished for his loyalty, but I can see Billy Joe being he could defend it for five or six fights, but he might not fought anyone.
The thing is, as well, that's dangerous as well, especially for Billy Joe, because you can tell he's that type of guy. If it's competition's not, A grade, you can see him not training as hard, carrying a bit of weight, not making weight, stuff like that. And I just don't want him to, like, the saying, you fight bums and you become a bum. I just don't want him to, level off.
He doesn't have the dedication and the skill set that Sir Joe had. So when Sir Joe's great fights did come around, he turned it on. But you worry that Billy Joe might not have that next gear. That's my concern.
Yep. Anything else regarding this fight? There's not really much to say. It was kind of a
just disappointing.
Black and white fight.
No, both of them, no body work. None. I've never seen a fight with no body work. And if Lee had gone to that body and an inexperienced novice Eubank Jr. worked that out too late, he's an experienced guy. He should have. I mean, I think he threw 2 or 3 body shots in that first 5 or 6 rounds. But everyone knows that going to Billy Joe's body is the way to beat him. Although he's never been beaten, but that would be the route, wouldn't it? That you go down.
It is, but he gauges distance, like you said earlier, so well. Yeah. It's hard to get to his body.
Pressure him, and Lee was so. All his weight was on his back foot. He was kind of like edging forward, and like Hamada said, that left hand was in a really weird place.
Yep.
Like he wasn't there. He wasn't going to. He didn't really land a jab, did he? In that first 6 rounds. No. Lee. Disappointing in Lee. Disappointed.
Lee tried to throw some body shots, but he was always straight and low.
He was low, and he was always a bit too far as well. So if it did land, he didn't have no impact on it. But
Hamada's been proven right. He's not very good at. He's bang average at everything, really, apart from the power.
Yeah,
You're right. I've always been a fan.
Yeah, I think Billy Joe was quite good to his performance. Like overall, like defensively, he was very good. Like I don't think Lee hit him clean until probably late until the fight.
10th, 11th round there, wasn't it? Where he had one really good round.
His footwork was very good. He was at times using the shoulder, or at times he had the high guard. The left hand was right up by his chin all night. He was really good, man. And the knockdown. Me and Cam discussed this before we came on. It looked a bit like an arm punch.
Yeah.
Where he did something really like, which is textbook 101 boxing, which you learn in the gym, to roll under the backhand of your opponent and then come over with the hook. But it was quite weird. Like Cam's right, the hook didn't really seem to have much leverage on it. It looked like almost like a
arm punch,
a half slap. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but the way
it was on a weird angle, it wasn't
the way
low. It's quite high, wasn't it?
The way Lee reacted as well, like you thought like Golovkin hit him.
You thought he was dead.
Exactly, yeah. I thought first, all right, he didn't see the shot and it dropped him, but when he gets up, he'll be fine. But he got up on wobbly legs, and I was thinking, really, did that really hurt him that bad?
Exactly.
But he walked into it as much as well, didn't he? So he doubled because he was coming up, wasn't he?
He was coming up and trying to throw his own right hook.
Yeah. So he was putting his weight.
Got there first.
Quick hands, isn't he? He's got quick hands.
Yo, guys, quick question: have you, in any previous fights, have you ever seen Billy Joe hurt? I can't remember an instance when I've seen him badly hurt.
I thought he not hurt against. He felt the pace, and the body shots wore him down against Eubank. But I don't think he was ever. His legs have never stiffened.
That's one thing. To go so far in your career and fight decent opposition and never been hurt, man, it's quite impressive.
Yeah, Billy Joe's got a good chin.
Yeah, it's in the blood, that breeding. Those boys can take a good punch.
And he does ride the punches quite well as well. What's your opinion on how...
he don't get hit flush.
Yeah, exactly. What do you guys think about Booth's corner work? I thought he was given good instruction, but I don't know, maybe towards the 10th, 11th, do you think he should have told him to put the hammer down?
I wasn't listening.
I don't think Lee was listening to the advice he was being given at the beginning, and maybe he just thought, I've told you everything I can tell you, and you're not listening. I'm done. It felt like he threw the towel in.
He used your term, you're dead to me.
You're dead to me, mate. But at the end of the 8th or 9th, I don't know. It's not his... I thought Andy Lee would be smarter than just to need a bollocking,
Yeah.
He's like a smart guy.
Do you guys see just a voluntary rematch just because it's sold pretty decent in the third actual date of the fight being made? Atmosphere was there quite good, and the fact that I think Warren would pay for Lee to come over again. You see a voluntary rematch?
I hope not.
I don't know.
I mean, actually, you know what? I don't mind actually because he could end up fighting a load of nobody. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Actually,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think, you know what, I prefer Lee, because then you think hopefully Lee's going to come out with a bit more gusto than, you know, some Eastern Europeans just that have secretly, amazingly got into the top 10 or top 15, and then Billy Joe's having a fight against him. Because we'll get onto this in a bit. I was looking at a rankings website that I usually look at, and they list all the sanctioning bodies top 15. And I don't know how often it gets updated, but they had, you know, Liam Smith's opponent. I think he was at 9th in the WBO, and it's just I could have just imagined that, you know, you check it one day and he's not there, and then next day he's there, and then the fight with Liam Smith gets announced. Man, the WBO is dodgy with Warren.
Yeah, him and Aram run the WBO.
True.
Like, was it last week? Donaire got to fight for a WBO belt.
Yeah, that was some bullshit, because it's supposed to be some like international belt or something, and it's got made for like a major title. Man, it's just bullshit.
WBO is a joke. I'm just looking at the website I sometimes use, and in the top 15 of the WBO middleweights, Kerry Hope is number 14.
Oh, you use the same website as me then?
Yeah. I mean, have you heard of anyone apart? Tommy Langford I've heard of because of Box Nation, but half of those fighters I haven't heard of, Cam.
Who's Lanos Mark Nuggy? I never heard of this dude.
I don't know. Kerry Hope, Dominic Wade I've heard of, right? And then half of the other, they all seem like quite a lot of Eastern European fighters in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look too dangerous, does it, if he just fights out of that top 15?
No, he could be champ for 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, the Andam fight, they've fought before, haven't they? So, in the amateurs.
You know what? Yeah, I don't even. Obviously, you want competitive fights, but you see, if Billy Joe goes off and fights poor competition, like I wouldn't say I give him a pass, but I can accept it more because at least he's become a world champion by earning his way.
By being champion.
By British, Commonwealth, European, beating guys. Unlike the other guy who fought on the card, who I don't even want to speak about because I didn't even watch the fight, but, you know, he was handed the world title, you know what I'm trying to say, and he's going to fight that level of position for a long time. And if you look at Eubank Jr., who's getting a lot of hype at the minute, beat Spike and he's going to fight Blackwell. These are guys Billy Joe beat 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, his leftovers.
Exactly. He's beat these guys 2-3 years ago. You know what I'm trying to say? So, and a lot of people saying, oh, let's get the Eubank rematch. Nah, what's Eubank done to deserve it, really?
Yeah, he needs to fight Blackwell. So you can't criticise Eubank for going that route because he hasn't fought those guys. So it makes sense for his career and better than rushing him. So I think that Blackwell, if he beats Blackwell, you know, the money's too good.
The thing is,
Joe going to make that kind of money other than fighting Eubank, really?
I'm Team Eubank, but when he was still with Warren, they had the option to have the rematch with Billy Joe, but they didn't want to give up the interim.
They're lunatics. You can't trust them.
They didn't want to give up the interim WBA belt, and they've left to go to Matchroom. So I think Warren is right to say, like, you know, he's not getting a shot unless he becomes mandatory or some shit. Which I think's fair. End of the day, you fought him once, you beat him.
Yeah.
He didn't want a rematch. He's gone off to a competition. He's gone to Matchroom. So why does he deserve a world title shot now?
And you know what? It's always on Billy Joe. Like, Billy Joe fought Eubank the first time, and he didn't even need to fight Eubank. He didn't need to take that fight. He was mandatory for the WBO. He could have just waited out for a shot. But then obviously he thought, you know what, the pay is good, so I'm going to take the fight. If he said no to fighting Eubank, nobody could really moan because he had bigger things on the horizon. And now that he's world champion, all of a sudden people are saying, oh, let's give Eubank another shot. Like, do you get where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but who's...
Obviously, I know what you're saying
got no
about
one to fight.
paid and money fights and etc. But if you look at it from Billy Joe's point of view, it's like he's the champion now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are people telling him that he should fight Eubank Jr.? Like,
but why would he want to go and fight a bunch of nobodies in Manchester in front of hardly any people? If at least you fight Eubank again, big sellout, lots of money. I mean, it depends what kind of champion he wants to be, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
So he's not going to fight the Yanks, is he? If he was going to go over and fight Quillen and that, which I think, you on that performance, he's got a shot at some of those guys. I'm not saying he beats any of them, but he'll give them all a nightmare.
I think he beats Quillen.
Yeah, I just think, and Jacob's mouthing off saying, "Oh, I didn't think the performance was very impressive." Well, I didn't think you were very impressive against Pirov when you got fucking glass. So shit happens.
Or against Mora.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? Yeah, I'll go out on the limit. I think Billy Joe's all wrong for Canelo. Do you think so?
I think that fight's. I think
that's 50-50. I think that's a close one. I think Billy Joe could beat him.
The thing is, it might be another one of these fights like Saturday where they're both weighing each other because Canelo's a counter-puncher as well.
And Canelo's not really done well against southpaws, to be honest. He struggled with Tri and Lara. Alright, he beat Kirkham, but we all know that Kirkham's a come forward. He's not your typical tricky southpaw.
I'd love Dan to jump back on now, but he's stepped away. I don't know. That's an interesting fight. I could see Canelo's people taking the fight, but then it's like 155, 156 catch weight. It's Billy Joe.
Oh, Billy Joe's not making
that. No chance.
No chance. Billy Joe's not making that.
Exactly. So is that the fight where Canelo steps up to full-fledged middleweight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a dangerous fight for your first fight at middleweight. I think he'd probably want to have a test the water fight against a full middleweight. Because Billy Joe's no one to fight just randomly, man. He's a good fighter. Let's
just hope he goes and fights these guys. Because he's got he could beat some of these guys. He could make a real name for himself.
Well, if the payday's right, man, why wouldn't we let him go to the States and fight Canelo? He's talking Cotto as well. Is that the fight you guys would want to see?
I don't know if he fights Quillen, Jacobs, any of those guys.
Do you know what Milos just said in the chat? He said, "Don't forget, Canelo is unbeatable on the scorecards with those judges."
Yeah, Warren's going to have to get that fight over here.
Exactly, he's not going to knock him out, so Canelo's going to win by robbery.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right, should we move on?
Yeah.
No one else jumping on. Yeah.
Both of you have got. Let me think of the way to say this. Negative thoughts about Liam Smith's opposition on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd never heard of him. Honestly.
Why would? Yeah, no one's heard of him.
To be honest, I'm from Manchester and I never heard of him.
And then you saw him in the flesh in the interview with his glasses on, and you just thought, "Who is this hipster cunt?" That's what I thought. I was like, "Who is this?" He looks like Hamada will get this. He looked like a Shoreditch nightmare, that thing. But he did though, didn't he? Like tight trousers, glasses on, and then you saw him in the ring, and although I did give him a couple of the early rounds, he just walked straight through him, didn't he? He just had nothing for him. He was an area level fighter, I think.
Yeah,
and that's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
Unacceptable. The board should not let that fight happen.
No,
the guy has he fought for British title, Commonwealth title yet?
I don't think
has he even done that?
Let's have a look.
Good old box rec. His last fight was for a vacant WBO Intercontinental title. Before that, WBC Youth World Superweight title.
What does that mean? No one cares.
Yeah, so he's an area level guy. To be honest, this type of fight is a dangerous fight, man, because Liam Smith could have done some damage, and vice versa.
Exactly.
When he went for that headbutt as well, he could have broke Liam Smith's nose or whatever.
No, I'm talking about Liam Smith could have hurt him. Like he could have done what Quillen done to that guy.
Oh no! I agree with that, but on the other side, like putting such a vulnerable guy in with a established 154 pounder, like the way he kind of jumped in with the headbutt, like he could have done some damage to Smith. But I agree with you, like the fact that he could have got really hurt in there by Smith.
And this is what's going to happen with Liam Smith. Liam Smith's not going to fight anybody. Who's Liam Smith going to fight for the foreseeable future? He's not going to fight nobody. Joe Gallagher's going to protect one of his so-called world champions by putting him in easy fights. Frank Warren wants to protect that belt because he doesn't have much marbles to to play with. So he's gonna protect his fighters. It's a joke, man. And honestly, I'm not watching none of that. I won't. I refuse to. I just hope one day a good guy at 154, becomes mandatory for his title, and they can't duck him, and then he gets knocked out or he gets beaten.
Isn't Sorrow the mandatory? He'd lose that fight.
No, I just hope someone decent becomes mandatory and be like he's been gifted a world title, Liam Smith. Like, let's be honest, really. Did he? Oh
yeah, he fought a bum, and I got accused of talking shit when I said that. But that guy he wasn't up to anything.
And like, it's not as if he earned the world title shot. He didn't win a final eliminator. He didn't get himself high up in the rankings. He didn't
fought no one.
Fought no one, exactly. His best win was probably Eric Ochieng. Like,
sorry, Ruth.
How can you get a world title shot? Like,
I don't know. Let me play it.
Warren working his magic.
Let me play the devil's advocate. Like, most of what you guys have said is true.
Go on.
But I don't think he's as bad as you guys are making out.
He's not a bad fighter.
He's not a bad fighter. I think it's just his opposition, really, we're saying.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. He's being guided to an easy world title. And Warren, again, is not a guy that's going to match him hard. I could see there was a guy on the undercard that you like, Leon, Liam Williams.
Yeah.
I could see that fight happening next year.
That could be a good fight.
I could see maybe, if the money's right, someone like Rosado and Clotty fought on Saturday night. I could see maybe you bringing Clotty over.
Yeah, Clotty's in the top 10, isn't he, in that division?
Yeah, exactly.
That silly belt.
I just see probably weak defenses, and then soon as Hamada said, someone good becomes mandatory, all of a sudden Liam Smith won't be able to make weight and he'll have to drop the belt. Yeah, exactly. That's what I could see happening.
He'll fight Billy Joe, won't he, if they can keep hold of it. But Sorrow is, on that listing, he's number 2, but Sol Alvarez is number 1. So I think Sorrow should be the mandatory. But now we know, because when they said, Warren hasn't paid him enough, I thought, I can't really believe that. I thought he'd give him a decent offer when Sorrow pulled out because of the money, right? Yeah. He's still there, yeah. But then you see who he's paying. This guy who's an area level fighter. He obviously has no money. That's why. So Sorrow probably was right to turn down that deal, because if all they can afford is this Jimmy kid,
see what I don't get about that whole situation.
He's never going to get any of the good fights over here.
No, just before Hamada, just before you jump in, I think the reason that maybe Leon is because obviously Smith was on this card in October, and apart from the Lee Saunders fight, Saturday's card was kind of weak, really, innit? So I think he kind of used, he did a bit of a Hearn move where he's used Smith and some other fan base to fill some seats up, sell some tickets, because he does bring a crowd over with him from Liverpool, and I think that's the reason. And because I don't think he wanted to fight maybe in January, February, because I think with the way the conversation was going after the fight, in the post-fight interview, he was saying he wanted him to kind of enjoy Christmas a bit, because he's kind of had 3 camps back-to-back hard camps. So I think that's the reason. I think he kind of pushed him to put him on this card to give him a break for the new year.
Yep.
Sorry, Hamada.
Now I was gonna say, you see Leon with that situation he was talking about with Sorrow and the money and that.
Yeah.
That fight was ordered. Was it ordered? It was ordered, right, for the WBO.
Yeah, that
right?
was the.
So why did it not go to purse bids? Why all of a sudden this Thompson guy got brought in? That's how you know it's a corrupt organization.
And Trout got bumped, didn't he? Because he was number 3, right? So yeah, it's bullshit.
That's how you know, Warren, it has a dodgy relationship with the WBO, because they ordered a fight and all of a sudden that guy's no longer involved. And when you can't come to an agreement, it should go to purse bids, right? That's what normally happens.
Yeah,
it
but
does. It shows
the way the interview went on iFilm, if I can remember, he was like, there was some issue with Arum because Sorrow had some type of contractual agreement with Arum, and then there were issues with that. But I totally agree. That's probably just a cover up, man. It's probably just Warren picked up the phone, said to him, "We want this dude, make it happen," and it's happened.
Yeah. Who wants to read out Davy Boy Essex's comment?
I'm not reading that out. Because I want to save him. I like Davey. I'm going to save him.
No,
Nah.
but what Beeb said.
Oh, Beef said it. I thought he said, I agree. He's a pressure boxer.
Oh, did he? I'm just saying that we've let it out of the cat. Say Liam Smith reminds me of a more athletic, slightly more skilled version of Antonio Margarito. I don't know what fighter he's looking at.
He's definitely a pressure fighter, and
He's a pressure fighter, yeah. But
his body work is good as well, man. Left hook to the body, but I'm going off what
Tesco Joe body shot.
Tesco Joe body shot. I'm going off what Wasif said in the chat. Ishe Smith to fight Liam. Battle of the Smiths. That's a good one. Anything else regarding this fight? You guys shit on it enough, or do you want to shit on it a bit more?
I don't know.
It's
Tell
not
us what
our
happened.
fault, mate,
Cam,
is
you
it?
watched it. Tell us what happened.
Did Leon not see it? You see it?
I
Leon?
watched it. Yeah, I watched it.
It's,
Just fell apart after a couple of rounds.
yeah, he had a bit of success, especially with the uppercut. But you could tell that he's not on the same level. He's not had the same experience. Like Kelly, he started getting hit with clean shots. He was pulling back with his chin in the air, hands low, getting caught with hooks as he was trying to get out. And he started to visibly get tired. And that weird... What round was that? Knockdown, Leon? Was it
When he slid down the ropes.
Yeah, he slid down the ropes, and the ref didn't give it as a knockdown. He was like, yeah, just get up, let me clean your gloves.
Clearly out of his head, wasn't he?
Fuck it. That was dangerous, the way the referee let that continue.
I think so. I mean, that was... We don't usually, we usually jump in on that shit, don't we? The
Yeah.
Brits, so but yeah, there's no need for it, really, to carry on.
Yep, and his headbutt as well. I don't like dirty fighters. I don't think he did it with the dirty. I think he just had what Barry Jones was saying.
Panicked.
Yeah, he just
beaten up.
didn't know what to do. Couldn't keep him off him. The pressure was getting to him, and he just thought, I'd jump in with my head, which I hate to see because even Smith did make a point afterwards saying, look, he did hit my nose. You could have broke it or not. So which is
That's the thing where you put someone who's that overmatched in a fight, they're going to make silly decisions because they've got no chance. And it's a fight, if you're getting punched in the face and you suddenly become desperate, he shouldn't have been in there. Swimming, he shouldn't have been swimming with the sharks, Cam. Should he?
with the Sharks at 154.
The sharks at 154 munched him up.
Fair enough. All right, let's move on. Do you want to talk about Liam Williams? Should we give that a pass, Liam?
He's good. If you haven't seen him, watch him. He could be a good fighter, and he did what he had to do. That's all there is to say about it, really, isn't there?
Yeah, don't jinx him too much. Don't give him too many compliments.
Shit, yeah. Don't watch it. No one watch him.
Don't watch him. He's rubbish.
Yeah, shit, he'll go nowhere.
We'll curse him otherwise. Paul Butler versus a midget.
The midget kept landing on him.
You kept getting caught with that little left hook, innit? But it's just again the pressure kind of started getting to him to the little. Is it Romanian? But he's living out in Spain.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Probably watching the. Oh no, I'll stop. Oh no, I won't say that. Carry on.
It was a fun fight while it lasted, but again, Paul Butler's not a big super flyer, man, but he looked massive compared to this Silvio guy.
Yeah, he did. But it'd be interesting to see that. That's a good little fight, that him versus that Irish lad.
McConlon.
Yeah, Conlon, is it?
Yeah, Jamie Conlon.
Yeah.
I don't know, the way Frank Warren talks about this fight is like it's Frampton and Quigg. We can't wait next year, we'll get this fight. And to me, this is just like a British level fight, kind of, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good fight, though, isn't it? I'm looking forward to it, because he brings it, that Irishman.
True. I'm looking forward to it.
But Warren's desperate. What can he do?
Jack Cattrall, really poor performance the last time he was on the show in October, but he looked a lot more impressive this weekend. Got a third round stoppage against, was he Mexican, that Nunes guy?
Yeah. Well, he'd been over at the TMT gym last time, hadn't he? And he'd brought back, he was trying to be all Floyd when he came back in his last fight, but he looked a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better in this fight.
What else was there? The Tom Stoker, Craig Evans rematch.
Does that not feel like the 15th time you've seen that fight, even though they've only fought twice?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that if anyone's not watched this fight, the first fight ended in a draw. It was a fun fight. The second one, again, it was a fun fight, ended in a draw again. Craig Evans, in my opinion, lost the first fight. This fight,
yeah,
I could see him winning it, but I'm more likely to see a draw. I didn't score it, but a lot of the rounds were even. The only problem with it for me was, because both guys lack power, and I shouldn't really say this because it's boxing and it's not always about power, that there was never no kind of X factor. That you're never really worried about one guy getting dropped and then getting jumped on and getting out of there. Like, both guys were catching each other clean. And like,
exactly, that's what I was going to say. It's like when people keep landing clean on each other, after a while, it's like, because they were landing flush, weren't they? Because there was no defence on either side, really.
No.
And they both I mean, Stalker looked like he gassed after 2 minutes of the first round.
They were throwing a lot, though, to be fair, but yeah.
They were throwing a lot, but I mean, they both gassed, didn't they? So the punches just had no snap on them. Yep.
It was a fun fight to watch, especially I think it was like the second televised card on the...
Was it the first? I don't know. We started watching it too early, Cam, wasn't it? About 4:30 or something.
I actually fell asleep during the Mitchell Smith fight, man. So I think.
Oh, did you? You missed the most fun.
I did rewatch it, but yeah. I think that's the next fight to talk about, apart from the Tommy Langford fight, which was a bit of a mismatch.
That's the only one I haven't seen. I didn't.
It was a bit of a mismatch, man. He was levels above this guy that I think Eubank had previously fought. Stopped him in the 4th round, hurt him multiple times, dropped him twice, I think, in the 4th. And yeah, Tommy Langford's good. I like to watch him. He's got a really nice right hand. It's just whether he can take it up another level. Most of these guys, I don't want to jump on bandwagons anymore. I've been guilty of jumping on bandwagons, and then guys get stopped by Sergio Kamitsky. So I was looking at the schedule for next year, and Leon, do you know that John Ryder's fighting Kamitsky in January?
Where? On what? On that Hay card?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll Google it now.
No, on the Groves card.
One of those London-based cards, yeah, but...
He's getting knocked out, isn't he?
I'm worried about him, man, but...
He's getting sparked out. I'm putting money on that now.
Kamitsky always kills these Euro guys, man.
He does, man.
Who did he take out first? Buglioni, then he was it Adam Etches? Now he's going for Ryder. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely putting money on him.
Yep. Alright, let's go back to Mitchell Smith, and Ari's decided to duck a show where he's been quite high on Mitchell Smith. Joe Morgan, he's high on Mitchell Smith. He actually won a Box Nation competition. Sorry for putting this out there, Joe, but he won some Box Nation.
Under the bus.
Joe Morgan won a Box Nation t-shirt because he asked Mitchell Smith a question on Twitter, and Smith chose to answer it, and he got a t-shirt in the post. Since that performance, however, Joe has told me he has burnt it because he doesn't want any of that bad luck rubbing off on the swagger man, Lee Selby. What did you think about the fight? Amada, did you see the fight?
What fight?
Mitchell Smith versus... that answers my question there. The Mitchell Smith versus... was it?
Sorry, I missed it. I just heard you say something about how Joe won a t-shirt, a Box Nation t-shirt. and he's got the Matchroom Fight Pass t-shirt.
Yo,
he's got all the t-shirts. He needs a Hennessy one, and he's got the collection.
Alright, Leon, what's your thoughts on Mitchell Smith? Do you think he was just relying on that one punch too much?
What's my thought on him? Like, first of all, he's a total bellend. He's talked so much shit, and he was sloppy, and like you said, he was just loading up and punching from miles away. I mean, how many big shots did he miss with? I don't think he landed properly clean on that guy. I mean, how he was showing power shot after power shot after power shot.
And
no game.
My boy Barry Jones made a great point about Jupp just doing the basics well, man. Just on his jab, gauging distance well.
Slip a punch him, land with a jab every time he missed.
Exactly. And Smith, like, he wasn't doing anything behind the jab. It was just all leads. He'll just try and do a bit of head movement and get into range, and he had some success with the uppercut, but he wasn't disguising it, as Barry Jones was saying, with other punches. So Jupp just saw what he was going to do immediately, and he'd either spin out or step back or, counter punch him. And big props to Jupp, man, because the way everyone was talking before this fight, they just thought it was a foregone conclusion that Mitchell Smith was going to either knock him out or easily beat him.
And Mitchell Smith was talking all kinds of shit to him, wasn't he, in the build-up? Who does this... I don't know who he thinks he is. My main problem with him is he's a West Ham fan.
Oh, so he's all right. So you want him to jump off the West Ham ship?
He's from West London, so I don't know what the fuck he's doing supporting art, but yeah, he's a muppet.
Do you think this defeat is going to humble him, or do you think you're just going to get a few bounce back fights and just be the same guy again?
There's a long way down there's a long way down for him to fall, because he said, this is a guy a couple of months ago who said he thinks he could beat Lomachenko.
Yeah, he was shitting on Lomachenko, Selby, shitting on Warrington, and
so I think he's fallen a little bit, but I think he's still got some distance to come down before he's truly humbled.
So you want him to drop a few more pegs first?
Well, I just want him to it doesn't seem like he takes it seriously. Like Wasif was saying, he was complaining about having to cut weight and stuff. But it's like, you're a boxer. You choose the weight division you're fighting in. It's not a good enough excuse, is it? Yeah,
well, like Davey Boy in the chat saying Smith needs to go back down. Like, he's not really a natural 130 fighter. He's a featherweight. He's 126. So he's just lazy. He just doesn't want to make the weight.
Yeah. I haven't seen. I'm gonna go and watch his post-match, his post-fight interview. I haven't seen it, but that's where he said he had problems making weight. But it's you made yourself out to be a killer and you got mugged.
That's the problem. If you're having struggling with weight, then don't chat so much shit beforehand, because it makes you look like more of a dick.
Yeah.
But
I think there seems to be a lot of kind of rejoicing on Twitter after that loss, and that says all you need to know, really, doesn't it?
True. Yep. But major respect to George Jupp, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he did a lovely job. But he had size on him as well, wasn't he? He was a lot taller than him.
Yeah, he had the range as well. That jab was working beautiful. Just lastly, Vinder Singh was on that as well. Third professional fight. I don't know. His two opponents since his debut have been worse, so it's hard to kind of gauge what they're trying to do with him. I could see him maybe having a big fight in India, because
seriously, he could be Warren's biggest cash cow.
He could be, but I think the issue is now is he's like first on these televised bills at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Empty arenas. The only people cheering are Indian, like either probably like local Indians or related to him. So it's a bit disappointing after the kind of amateur career he's had. So the way he's talking in interviews, you could see him having a fight in India, kind of a homecoming fight, and I think he needs to do that. I don't think there's point in like having fights over here in empty stadiums. It's not going to do anything for his morale. It's going to be good learning fights, but you can get decent opponents and ship him over to India.
Because that could be him versus Billy Joe.
Yeah,
that could be the big fight, couldn't it? Imagine that. Imagine Billy Joe's mob going to India.
Even before that, like Liam Williams and like Warren's got 154 guys, one middleweights, 168s that he could kind of match up together at catch weights and shit. So it's definitely good scope for Mr. Vinder Singh, though.
Yeah, who's this you lot are talking about?
Oh, have you read what Wasif said about that?
Shout out to my boy Wasif in the chat saying Cam repping UKIP getting back home. Not in that type of way, Wasif. Come on, bro. Yeah, last time I was making comments about Eubank Senior, and now I'm representing UKIP, man. What's going on?
Oh.
Did you say this guy could fight Billy Joe Saunders?
Not yet, but in the future, yeah.
Not yet, but that's what
he's got the middleweight.
Yeah,
he's got really illustrious amateur background. I don't think he won a gold everywhere, but he won silvers and bronzes.
He won a gold, didn't he?
Did he? I'm not 100% sure. He didn't win it at...
I don't really know. He seemed good.
I don't think he got gold at Commonwealth or Olympics, but
okay.
He's got like decent...
Is he good?
He's got good skills.
He's still got his amateur kind of style a tiny bit, but he's got a good right hand, man. He's got a good right hand. But yeah, I mean, you've not watched him at all?
Nah, this is the first time I've even heard of him.
He's on Davies' channel, so you can see it there.
Yeah, I won't watch this fight though. I'd watch his first fight on.
He could sell out arenas here though, man. There's a lot of Indians in the UK.
He could, but
no, will they come out for boxing though? Really?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not really big boxing fans, to be honest. But yeah, let's move on.
Home soon.
We've covered this card now. Let's move on to the Turning Stone Casino, Verona, New York card. Luis Ortiz versus Bryant Jennings. Very fun heavyweight fight. Leon, your thoughts?
It was a good fight. I like Ortiz. I hope he's clean. I mean,
I knew you were going to say that, because the last time I was praising him, you were like, nah, man, he was put for drugs, man, fuck him to cheat. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, but let's see if he's clean. But he's always had skills. I mean, he's about 85 years old.
He does look like he's like fucking 90, innit?
But he carries power, as Vel you would say. Power. Like, in both hands as well. So, you've got to like him. And he goes out to hurt you as well. He was stalking Jennings, wasn't he, by the latter rounds?
Yeah. This weird thing for me is, even though he had a lot of success on the inside, especially when he dropped Jennings with those uppercuts and that, he doesn't look like he's comfortable in the inside. Like, a lot of the times he was pushing Jennings off. He seems to be more comfortable fighting that mid-range where he can kind of counter-punch with his southpaw left hand. That's how I felt. To me, like, every time he was on the inside, he was either trying to throw and get out, spin out, or he was trying to push him away. He never looked that comfortable.
But he seemed happy to go there, which is a positive in the heavyweight game, because not a lot of them are they?
That's true.
Even if he's uncomfortable. He should have got points taken off for this pushing. He was pushing so much.
Yeah, a lot of the times the ref didn't even warn him. He would warn him once, and then he would do it again a few minutes later, and he wouldn't warn him again. It was weird.
But it's a good win, isn't it?
Definitely a good win.
On paper, it's a good win.
I'm a big fan of Jennings as well, man. Like, he's very respectful.
Yeah, I had Jennings to win. I don't know about you guys.
Nah, man, I slipped up and went for the power puncher, but luckily he got me out. But normally, like, I pick the power puncher and then he gets outboxed, because I was thinking to go with that prediction last week, but at the end I just thought I had a change of mind and ended up picking Ortiz, man, because Southpaw brethren and all that.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, of course.
But Hamada, what did you think of the fight?
You lot said it was fun. I didn't find it that entertaining. It was a decent fight.
You didn't find it that entertaining, but you thought fucking Lee and Saunders was intriguing.
Intriguing. See, I never said it was a good fight. I said it was intriguing. Like, it was like, you know, nip and tuck. But I don't know, man. It wasn't that fun. It was a decent fight. I thought Jennings was... I don't know what it was with Jennings. He was... How do I say it? Like, he was fighting in a weird way. Like, his punches he was getting so close to Ortiz where his punches were hardly having any leverage on them.
True, but
like, he was hitting Ortiz cleanly, but they were having no effect because there's no leverage on the punches. There's no real space where he's actually, you know, where he's creating leverage on his shots. So
where you could get torque on it and get some power.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought Ortiz had him out of there in the first round. He went after him in round one, and he had him hurt quite bad. He hurt him again. I think it was round 3.
Yeah,
hurt him quite badly again, and then the finish was quite nice. He came with it was a right hook that hurt Jennings first, then a couple uppercuts with either hand, and then the left hand uppercut put him down face first like Pascal against Marquez. And somehow he got up. I didn't know how he got up. I thought it showed Jennings' toughness. And then the finish was quality. He threw the left hand to the body, came over the top with the right hook. And Jennings was just stumbling all over the place. And
everyone cool with the stoppage?
Yeah, the stoppage was fine. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I thought that was fine as well.
He wasn't going to win, was he?
He wasn't going to win, and these guys are big guys, and you don't want to keep someone in there too long if they're not got their senses together.
Yeah. It was a good fight, especially, like, you know, it's a good fight for a heavyweight fight because I always think they're a bit, you know, lacking. So for a heavyweight fight, it was a good fight.
You know, Cam, you said that he fights like an old school heavyweight. He looks like an old school heavyweight.
He does, doesn't it? Like, he's a bit muscular, but he's still a bit fat.
Now, what I'm trying to say is he looks that old. Like, he was probably fighting in them.
He probably sparred Ali, didn't he?
He looks that old. Like, he looks so old. But yeah, he's so skilled. Like, for a heavyweight, he's got so, like his punching technique's quality. He could throw every punch, the uppercut, the right hook, the left hand.
For a big dude as well, he seemed quite light on his feet as well. Like,
yeah, good lateral movement, I thought. Good head
the
movement.
only issue is, did you guys, was it me, or was he kind of gassing a bit before he got the stoppage? Like, he would take, he would take time in rounds off.
Yeah, I wouldn't say gassing, but he was trying to find that second win.
Yeah.
Trying to get that second win going, but I thought he was going to gas, and I thought he would still win on points. I thought he'll beat up Jennings that badly in the first 6-7 rounds, where it will go to the decision, and Jennings probably wins the last 4 rounds, finishes strong. But Ortiz has done enough, but he proved me wrong. He got him out of there, but yeah, man, I was impressed with him. I think he's a beast. I think he can do big things in the heavyweight division. Honestly, like in terms of eye test, he's up there with Joshua, Fury, and all of them. If I'm being honest, he might even be better than them. And no one's gonna really want to fight him. Big punching, awkward southpaw. You know, I'm trying to box. Yep, can throw every punch in the book. Not many people's gonna want to fight him.
What do you guys see his next move then? Because was this fight kind of to become either interim or like mandatory to WBA? Is it?
Yeah, it's that horrible fight, isn't it? That Australian versus
Lucas Brown.
Yeah, Lucas Brown versus Chagayev, is it?
Yeah, I don't know, man. To be honest, I know he's going to be avoided, so he just needs to somehow find his way into a mandatory position.
Well, he's number 1 in that WBA, so he's got the interim.
Yeah, but who's he number 1 for? The regular or the super champ?
Shagayev.
Exactly, that's the confusion, you know. I don't want to see him fight Shagayev.
Yeah.
He'll beat up Shagayev. I want to see him fight
go
Fury.
to Russia and get robbed.
I think he'll knock out Shagayev. He ain't got to worry about that. But I want him to fight the best. I want him to fight Fury. I want him to fight
Povetkin.
Exactly. I want him to fight these guys because he beat Jennings, he beat him in better fashion than Klitschko.
And what's Jennings? 4 or 5, like 5, 6 around there.
And Jennings is a top heavyweight. You know,
he's top 10 definitely.
Exactly. Like him beating Jennings is like a better win than a lot of these heavyweights have got on their resume. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it's better than anything Povetkin's done recently. It's better than anything Joshua's done recently.
It's better than everything Wilder's ever done.
Exactly, it's better.
I think it's better than Stavern.
I think it is as well. So, to be honest, we want him in there with the best. I want him in there with the best anyways.
Yeah, Fury. Fuck it. Let's go for it.
Andy beat Jennings like that with the flu.
Even better.
Oh, man. Flu.
Imagine didn't have the flu. That was 3 rounds tops.
Exactly, it's true. He would have probably got him out of there.
Fail the drug test now. The doctor's going to have given him something.
Did you guys see the HBO feed, was it?
Oh, yeah, I watched something on YouTube the next morning.
Yeah, because unfortunately nowhere in the UK was showing it. So it was the first time in a long time that I actually listened to Lampley and Kellerman, and this week they had B-Hop. I don't know, man. Lampley seemed like he was pissed, man. He was like making so many mistakes and shit. This guy's pissed.
He likes a little drink, though, doesn't he?
I think he had something like in a little flask in his jacket.
A little hip flask.
Hip flask, exactly.
Yeah.
But I just want to give a quick mention to Jennings, man. I'm a fan of Jennings. He's always humble, never shits on anyone. He even said after the fight that he thought the stoppage was fine. And regarding Ortiz's previous drugs violation, he's saying, look, that's in the past. Both guys were tested by... I think it was Vada before the fight.
Vada, yes.
Yeah, and I like that. You know, some guys could say, yeah, the guy was a cheat, and but he's saying, look, that's in the past. People change, people move on. So, really big fan of Jennings. He's
a bright guy, though, isn't he? He's a non-boxer boxer.
Yeah, the first time I really seen him fight, it was when he fought the guy that.
The Cuban, the other Cuban.
No, but no, not Mike Perez. I think I seen him beat Spilker.
Yes, he did.
That was the first time I saw Bryant Jennings fight, and I was really impressed with his movement. And I just thought that he's not really a big enough heavyweight, you know, for that division, because those guys are super heavyweights now, most of them. Yeah. But he did impress me against Vlad, because you know Vlad couldn't get him out of there, and there were times he was having success. looking back now, maybe that was just the declining of Vlad after what Fury did to him. But props to Bryant Jennings. I hope he comes back. Hope he gets some more big fights, gets some more paydays. Because I think even when he fought Spilka, I think he was a part-time boxer. I think he was still working at some a bank or something like that. So props to the guy.
He
man.
started late as well, didn't he? Like 20 in his mid-20s.
Yeah, again, I think he's one of these football players that gets injured and they have to kind of make a new decision about what direction they want their life to take, and picked up boxing late, man. So it's a shame that his football career didn't work out, but he's definitely impressed a lot of his boxing heads. So props to Jennings, man. Right, undercard-wise, we had a really weird fight between Nicholas Walters and Jason Sosa. Did both of you guys see this?
I watched it, yeah, today.
Hamada, you see it?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
All right, Leon, did you see a draw in this fight?
I gave... Is it Sosa? That was his name, wasn't it?
Yep.
I gave him a round.
I gave him 1 round as well.
Yeah, it was a systematical beatdown, and he landed nearly over 40% of his shots.
Yep.
Walters landed 40% of his shots.
I think it might have been a bit more than that. I might be wrong, but
yeah, I think it was like 46 something. It was high, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a joke. I don't know what he's done. He's pissed. He's obviously pissed off Arum for thinking about sneaking off to Heyman.
Yep.
And he might have just got a little punishment. It feels that dodgy, doesn't it?
It does. I was surprised.
These are experienced guys, by all accounts. Everyone was saying on Twitter.
The funny thing is, Leon,
been doing it for a long time.
The funny thing is, Leon, I didn't stay up to watch your stream because I thought I'll just catch it the next day.
I tried to, but slept through my alarm.
There you go. And when I woke up in the morning and checked my phone to check the results and update the prediction league, I'm looking at, Walters has got this. I just looked at his box rec, so I didn't read any. I didn't read any website breakdowns of the fight. And I'm thinking, right, this must have been a tough fight for Walters. This Sosa must have been better than what most people thought. I know Naoto was talking highly of him. So when I've gone to watch the fight now, I'm expecting like a very equal, very hard, tough fight between both of them. And when I just saw it being like a washout, I thought, this is just plain robbery, man. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's Arum just kind of punishing him for trying to sneak out the back door.
I think it's one of the worst cards I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
So the fight was a draw.
A draw.
Oh, because when I thought he lost.
No, it was a draw. But the funny thing is, it was a majority draw. 2 judges had it a draw, 95-95 each. And 1 judge had 96-94 to Sosa. So, Walters didn't even get a win on any of the cards, which is even worse.
It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
I think Arum told him to make Walters lose, and I think they both made a cock up.
They fucked up their maths.
Yeah, they fucked up their maths.
Or they couldn't fuck it up that bad because that would have just got investigated.
Yeah, I think they gave him one round too many. They gave Walters 1 round too many, and they thought, I can't go back and change it now.
It's gonna look dodgy if I cross it out on my piece of paper.
Yeah, exactly.
It wouldn't surprise me, man. But why does that leave Walters now? Because after those scorecards, you wouldn't want him. You wouldn't think he'd want to fight under Arum again, would you?
He must be coming close to the end of his contract. I would imagine he would go straight over to the other side as soon as possible.
You don't know these Arum contracts, though, man. They're written in blood.
It's true, but
he is Axeman, though. Maybe he can just go round to Bob's house and just take his head off.
And wasn't he meant to be fighting one of those Japanese guys?
Is it Uchiyama? Or?
Uchiyama, that's it. Yeah, but I think they say that fight might still go ahead.
It's going to be hard to get Uchiyama out of Japan unless they give him some silly money. He's fighting on, I think, either the 29th or New Year's Eve. Yeah. He's going to be in the prediction league, but it's going to be hard to get him out of Japan.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, no, one of the worst robberies I've seen in a long time.
Yep. Props to Sosa, though. He did try. It's just that his output and his effective punches were just nullified by Walters. He had equal or more output, and the punches were cleaner. I liked a lot of Walters' body work, man. His left hook to the body was nice. And for a tall guy, very rangy, long arms, he fights incredibly well on the inside. You think the inside would be more Jason Sosa territory, but looks comfortable on the inside, fights well on the inside.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to sniff away. What did you say?
I'm just saying that, Walters fights good on the inside.
Yeah, he does. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was just... Yeah, it's shocking, really.
That's why they call him the Axeman, because he chop it down like a tree. That's what he says, That's what he said. That's how he got his name.
Nah, you
have to... to the body.
Come on, bro. Say it in a Jamaican accent, though. Come on. Do a key moment.
No, I leave that to Ari and them.
His Caribbean brother. All right. Rest of the card, I tried to watch some of it. I downloaded it. They were broadcast on HBO Latino, and I've said in the past I find it hard to watch fights that have foreign commentary. I did watch the Gamboa fight. It's pretty similar to the Walters fight, but the scorecards were actually correct. Gamboa clearly won the fight. Harlan Williams Jr. was a few 11s below, but Gamboa, every time he had Williams hurt, man, I thought he was just going for it a bit too much. I think he could have picked his punches a bit better. He just tried to jump on him and throw loads of punches, and most of them are missing or getting blocked. Apart from that, not really got much else to say. Did you see it, Leon?
No, I haven't. I didn't see any of that. I just saw the two main fights. I couldn't put myself through watching Clottey Rosado. Couldn't do it to myself.
Yo, my boy, Loco Mexican in the chat, he says, "Fuck you, Cam. Learn Spanish." Shout out to Loco, man. I ain't gonna lie, Leon. I tried to watch Clottey Rosado, but it's just, what's Clottey doing at that weight, man? The fight was actually, I think it was scheduled for 154, but I think they fought at middleweight, and it's just
because they're setting them up for Canelo's little
round robins,
little warm up.
Yeah, true.
That's what I've been hearing. I've heard it on a couple of other podcasts and on Twitter and stuff. So it's obviously out there.
I watched half the Clottey Rosado fight, but then I just gave up. But apparently Rosado won quite convincingly. Gonzalez versus Shabaranski, interesting fight. It was a fun fight to watch. Bit rock'em sock'em. If you'd like the sweet science, it's not really your type of fight. I was talking to Nesmatic earlier on Twitter, and he was talking about this fight where Gonzalez is quite frustrating, man. He's got the pressure, he's got the output, but his technique with a few of the punches is very poor. I mentioned it when he fought Pascal, that he slaps with that right hand. He doesn't get no power on it, no leverage, and he kind of got beat up a bit at times by Shabaranski. And it was, like I said, it's a fun fight to watch. Scorecards are, again, a weird one. When Gonzalez fought Pascal, most people thought either he won or it was a draw. And he was unfortunate to get that unanimous decision loss. And I think the kind of universe balanced itself out with this fight against Shabaranski, because he was very lucky to get a draw. No, he didn't get a draw. Sorry, he got majority decision loss. One judge had it a draw. The other two had it quite wide, which I thought was right, because I had the fight quite wide. So for some reason, I don't know, I was thinking it was a draw, but it wasn't. Yeah, correct decision. How that dude had it a draw, Tom Schreckman, I don't know. Again, if you're bored over the Christmas period, it's a fun fight to watch. Just rock 'em, sock 'em, though. And that's about it for that. There was Rancis Bartholomew versus Shefakov on Friday, but I didn't catch that. Did you guys either catch that fight?
Nah.
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that fight. Who won?
Bartholomew schooled him, apparently.
Oh, no, I completely forgot about it. I remember it was a fight that was kind of like, that I was going to watch. Like, I remember saying last week that I was interested in the fight, but I don't know. I don't know. I was that busy that I completely forgot about it, and it was on a Friday.
I think you were just enjoying your weekend so much that it just fell out of your memory. But let's have a break, talk about the Predictions League for a bit. We got a moment.
So, yeah, man.
Yeah, Hamada, you're cutting in and out a bit. I think your line's going a bit bad. You might want to hang up and call back.
Cool.
Predictions league, we got Mo and 10 still in first. If he has a good last weekend, he'll probably become the champ of season 3 of 2015. LaMarcus Malvo's in second, TBE Chef in third. I am in fourth, Sean 7000's fifth, Punch Drunk sixth, El Terrible in seventh, Nothing for Something in eighth. My boy Wasif London in the top 10. That was his aim. He's made it, even though he had a late start. He's in ninth, and Arigo Boss is in 10th. Let's give a shout to the people in the chat. You got Tony Yayo, Chris DLFC, Casual Fan, Wasif1, Harvey29, Barceleos, Mr. Dermo, Super Merc, Mongo Sled, Davy Boy Essex, Nunez83, London Box, NK Halfy, Nothing for Something, Stokey, Jack Q16, Beast Mode, Court Music, my boy, BRD Hate, PM versus Local Mexican. Ari's in the chat. Ari, stop hiding in the chat, boy. Get on the line, man. Let's shit on your boy Mitchell Smith. Davis Lee 1, The Compo, Luke in LA, Zolo 90, Marky Mark TMT, Jason 268, Johnny B 86, Brian Mac 90, and 18 guests. Okay, I'm going to mention this again at the end of the show, but I'll mention it now. This is the last show of the coalition. We're going to go on a nice little break. We deserve it. We'll be back in mid-January, but the Prediction League is still continuing. You won't see any fights up there at the moment because there's a 7-day lockout. And what I'm going to do is, instead of 3 of the fights or 4 of the fights appearing on this Tuesday, and then the rest of them appear on Thursday, I'm just going to put them out on Thursday because I don't want people to check the website on a Wednesday, put their predictions in, forget about it because it's the Christmas period, and then realise they lost out on some points. So all the fights will go up at one point. My suggestion is to check the website on Thursday evening or Friday, anytime after that. All the fights will be on there, and then you'll be able to continue and try and either hold your position in the league or make some positions in the league. The fights that are in there, the Japanese cards, they always have big cards towards the end of the year, New Year's Eve or a couple of days before. The card on Tuesday's got the Inoue brothers and Akira Higashi on that card, and the one on the Thursday on the 31st, New Year's Eve, you got Ioka's on there, Takayama's on there. That's one card, and then a separate card going on at the same time. You've got Uchiyama's on there against Flores, and Taguchi's on there against De La Rosa. So make sure you get your predictions in Thursday or Friday for the following week. That's the last predictions of this season. It resets in January, but probably until mid-January because obviously there's not really many fights at the start of January. And that's about it. Guys, you guys want to talk about anything you guys seen? I know we had this Chris Eubank Junior Matchroom purse bids whole thing. Is it something you want to get into? Is it something you're not really bothered about?
It's just good to see someone just go, "You're not doing your job. I want that belt. Fuck you."
Yeah, but why does he want that belt though? He's not going backwards.
I don't know. We can't have it both ways because we always want the British guys to go for the British belts, and he knows he's powerful enough. He knows that he can walk away with Sky and come back, because if he keeps winning, that name is gold, He can always get back on Sky without Eddie Hearn, whatever the fuck he says.
I saw the Eddie Hearn interview today. It was about 40 minutes long, man. Talking to iFilm London about this, mainly this situation, but he was also covering stuff that came out earlier in the week with Hennessy and stuff about.
It was nice to see Fat Mick go after him, though, wasn't it?
Fat Mick's got that Tyson Fury money now. Now he feels like he's the
great,
boss,
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like he's a mafia boss now. He's got a bit of power. But I don't know, that whole 40-minute interview could have got condensed into 20 minutes because he mostly repeated himself throughout the interview, saying, if you want to get on Sky, you got to go through me. If Eubank leaves, it's a big mistake because this is the platform. And he basically just said that for...
That's all he talks about. He talks about his platform more than he talks about his fighters.
And he always says, I'll make him millions, I'll make him millions, I'll make him millions. That's all he ever says. Which is fair enough.
Bid.
Exactly, you can't win a purse for $250,000.
Exactly, Hamada. Wicked point, bro.
He's full of shit, man. I can't even be bothered to slate Hearn. I normally do, but he talks all this bollocks, and he loses a person to Mick Hennessy, who has no TV channel, no money. He puts on shows in Kent Bluewater shopping centres, and this is the guy who says he sells out arenas and he's got Sky pay-per-view and all this, and he loses a person to Mick Hennessy. I mean, it tells you all you need to know. I completely understand why the Eubanks walked away. I mean,
exactly, he's a big name. He's not like he's a little guy like one of the McDonald brothers or something. He's a moneymaker. Why are they treating him? He wouldn't do this to Joshua, and he's their second biggest name.
Yep, exactly. Like you said, he wouldn't do that to Joshua. He'll pull out all the stops for Joshua. It's just he's embarrassed himself in the last week or so, and he's just taking L's. Yeah,
it's shameful. Nearly as shameful as Brooke fighting Bizier on the 20th of February. That's what they're saying.
Is it a Mando though?
Yeah, it's a mandatory, but I mean, I guess you need that belt.
Would you take that though for Khan in the summer? Would you take that?
I'll take it for Khan.
I think
I can't trust them to give me Khan.
Nah, I think Khan's going to happen now because Khan's a bit desperate, man.
He's fucked, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fucked. He's just wasted a couple years. Like I was saying to a few people, I might have said it last week, but I can't remember if I mentioned it on last week's show. That I could always defend Khan previously because you could say, well, always fights the best. Look at his resume, but his resume's been shit for the last 2-3 years. It's so hard to defend him. He's been chasing Floyd, then he started to chase Pacquiao, and now he's only started to mention Kell Brook's name because he knows that's the last big name that's going to create a super fight.
Exactly.
Well, let's hope that his poor management brings us that fight because we all want that fight, don't we?
I don't want to jinx it, man, because you know Wesman with the curse and that, but we've got Frampton Quid coming up. Hopefully Brooke Khan gets made. A few other decent fights, and 2016 might work out to be a good year in boxing because I mentioned to some of you guys off air that people said to us, when are you doing your wrap up show of 2015, and like what is it to talk about? Because 2015 for me has been a very weak year in boxing because you could blame 2014 because of the whole Cold War and what's Heyman's plan. People didn't really know what his plan was. He was snapping up fighters, then he revealed that he's got all these dates and all these networks, so we thought, okay, we have to give him a shot. But for me, he's had his shot, and this year PBC has been a failure.
Yeah, there's been some good fights, but a few good fights. But for the amount of cards he's put on, I mean, some of these cards are a joke, like the headliners. I mean, who really thinks that Figueroa should ever headline any card?
Exactly. And like the biggest joke this weekend for me was Keith Thurman being nominated PBC Boxer of the Year.
So he's saying what again?
Exactly.
They're giving themselves
their own titles of Boxer of the Year. What, he fought Guerrero, which is a lightweight blown up, but he did beat him up. He did do a good job on him. And then Collazo, and then you're making him Fighter of the Year.
And Collazo hurt you as well. Hurt you bad.
I think Porter's got more ground to be Fighter of the Year because he beat Broner. I don't know, actually. Maybe
what, their Fighter of the Year?
Yeah, their Fighter of the Year. Yeah, like their own PBC Fighter of the Year, yeah.
Jamie McDonald. Let's have it right, isn't it?
That's a good shout, actually. But then,
Aaron Martinez.
Yeah, Aaron Martinez. He also gets Knockout of the Year. Apart from when he woke him back up with the next shot.
Knockout of the Year and Wake Up of the Year.
Yeah, that was one of my highlights of the year.
Yeah, but yeah, Hamada PBC being a failure this year or what?
Yeah, man, it's been a failure. Everyone's failed this year. Matchroom, PBC.
HBO had good shows, but just too few of them.
Yeah, this is.
And it was a year with big fights in it.
And Showtime was non-existent more or less this year. Like, they had a handful of cards
until the end of the year when Heyman started using them to get some money.
Exactly,
because he couldn't be asked to pay them no more.
Yep.
But anyway, like honestly, like in the UK, the boxing's been shit this year. Like, what's the best fight we've had in 2015 in the UK? What, White versus Joshua?
Probably.
No, the best fight on paper was Lee Saunders.
Yeah, but that turned out into a good fight.
But yeah,
Don't know about that.
Like, it's probably Joshua White, and like, it's been an awful year, man, in Britain.
Oh, you guys
that
heard
Flanagan card was good. I enjoyed that Flanagan fight.
Flanagan, Magdaleno, and Thompson
Yeah, but
versus
it's probably
Smith.
a mismatch, really, size-wise. Mitchell Linares was good. What else was good? Jamie McDonald doing what he did was very, very impressive.
Yeah, I was impressed. Going over there twice and beating Kameda
Yeah.
was impressive. But overall, it has been a weak year, man. I've been disappointed.
Yeah,
with
I
boxing
mean,
this year.
disappoint. I mean, there's been more disappointing fighters than there has been impressive fighters. I'd say that.
Yeah, man.
Wouldn't you say?
fair comment.
Groves proved himself to be a washed-up bum.
He's,
The Durrell family had another epic fail of a year, which was always enjoyable.
you love shitting on the Durrell family.
I fucking hated the Durrells. Who else? Klitschko faded badly.
Yeah, that fight was a big fight. That kind of, for me, was a bit weak.
Oh, that killed me. Klitschko Fury was awful. It was probably one of the worst fights I watched in years.
Cotto Canelo didn't live up to it.
No. The big one was a one-sided beating. You know, Floyd dominated Pacquiao.
Yep. Triple G wasn't tested by anyone.
The only thing that I would say 2015 has been good for is that there's been quite a few upsets, if you think about it. Like,
Yeah, there has. Yeah, that's
Huck losing.
that's one of the fights of the year. You'd say that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Huck losing.
Yeah.
There's been a few other upsets, but they don't spring. Luke Campbell losing.
Mitchell Smith losing.
There's been a few, but I just can't think. But there's been quite a lot. I mean, McDonnell obviously beating the Kameda guy. Fury beating Klitschko.
Martinez beating Alexander.
Martinez.
Yeah.
It's been quite a few upsets, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who would you say? I know we weren't going to go into that, but like fighters of the year, my top three, you'd have to go Floyd, Fury, McDonald.
I've not really thought about it, so I don't really want to give a comment.
I was thinking about it today, even though you told me we weren't allowed to answer these questions. But I was just thinking, I always like to think fighter of the year because it's the most interesting thing. You've got to give it to Floyd because he beat the number 2 guy. I mean, I hate, I'm no fan, but he's got to never bum do Jack. Sorry, compa.
True, but I don't know. He only fought once, though. That's my issue with Floyd.
Well, yeah, because I guess fighting Berto, he doesn't count, does it?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd give it to him, and I'd give it to Floyd, and then Fury because no one saw that coming. No one at all.
What about
and
DeGale? What about DeGale? He had a good year. Went to the States, beat Durrell. Went to the Canada and beat Butte. That's pretty decent.
That is pretty decent, but it's not. What Floyd and Fury did was beat the guy. He did not beat the guy.
Yeah.
They're the only two who beat the guy. Everyone keeps on the chat keeps on telling me bum do Jack. He beat losers and failures, so he gets nothing. And then McDonald, because they're to go away in those two and to beat that guy twice was impressive.
No, that's true. McDonald has to be up there, but it's just the smaller guys never get the props, really, do they? So
Yeah, and yeah. But anyway, that's just. I think I'd just like to take credit for praising Floyd. It's not something I usually do. So
Well done, Leon.
I'm quite impressed with myself.
Yo, pat on the back there,
That took
Leon.
a lot. I feel quite sick. I feel really sick.
My fighter of the year has to be Kell Brook. It has to be. I mean, he recovered from a life-threatening injury in
And
his
that's
leg.
shellacking.
He came back and beat Jojo Dan and Frankie Gavin, 2 awkward southpaws. I mean, has to be Kell Brook.
I'm just gonna
I'm
hang up on
joking.
you right now, bro.
Fuck Kelbrook, man.
Kelbrook's let himself down. That's the thing that bum fighters. I mean, how many fighters have had bad years? Khan got stalked by a light punching Algieri and then did nothing for the rest of the year. Brooks fought no one but
Nah, wait. Let's go back to Khan. He helped refugees and then he helped flood victims.
That's got nothing to do with boxing.
I just praise Floyd, so you can't bring them.
I'm just joking, man. I'm joking.
Yeah. But Garcia, I thought, lost to your boy, the drug cheat. What's his name?
Peterson. He's not a drug cheat.
I think Peterson beat him. Don't you?
Yep, I agree.
Garcia's had a bad year again, so it's a bad 18 months he's had.
And then he fought Malignaggi.
Yeah.
And now he's fighting Guerrero.
Rios getting stopped by Bradley was fun.
That's quite embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rios saying that he's retiring and saying that he's not retiring. That was quite funny.
Yeah. And then everyone getting really excited about Rios beating up a crackhead. That was quite amusing. But, fight of year, that from Farah Clevery is a good fight. Well, good call, Davey.
For me, it's got to be Quella versus Miura.
You mean Vargas?
Sorry, Vargas. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah,
Vargas
that was a great fight.
Nah, man. Fight of the year is Edwin Rodriguez versus Seals.
For me, that's second. That's second.
That's the best fight. That's the best fight I've seen in like 3 years.
But that was more comical.
Nah,
like the way the arms are swinging about when he got knocked out.
It was honestly it was an amazing fight. Knockdowns, heavy knockdowns, dropping each other, and it didn't last long as well.
Yeah, it's like don't you love it when when we do the podcast on a Monday, and you had a busy weekend in boxing.
Yeah, and
it's like you got 3 cards to watch, and you're like, oh, thank God, man! Like these main fights only lasted 3 rounds. It's only going to take me half an hour to watch this guy.
Yeah, shoot.
Oh yeah, sometimes, man.
There's nothing worse than watching like 12 rounds of boring fights, man.
It's true.
We put in some work, I annoy my wife on a consistent basis watching like fights on my laptop.
Serious, man. My wife has to watch like TV in the bedroom, man, because I'm watching loads of boxing downstairs on a Sunday and a Monday. The things we do, Leon.
We put ourselves through it.
Yeah, man. Anything else you guys want to talk about now?
No, I'm just glass, man.
You're just glass.
Did anyone read Pascal's little letter he wrote on Boxing Scene?
What did he say?
Calling Kovalev a liar and a racist and a coward. So
it's about right, isn't it?
Well, yeah, he's proven himself to be a little bit racist, for sure.
Not a coward, though. No coward in Kovalev.
Have you not learnt your lesson? You don't want to upset this man. He's one of the few fighters I've ever seen come back from killing a man and get better.
The funny thing about him as well, he keeps mentioning that I'm really going to hurt Pascal, and he means it as well.
Why would you wind him up? This is like months away from the fight. I mean, schoolboy error.
Stokey in the chat said, "R.I.P. Pascal." This is gonna be Ivan Drago versus Apollo Creed. Like he's gonna kill him.
The thing about this fight as well, I'm not hyped of it because I don't think it's necessary. I don't think Pascal did anything in the first fight that warranted a rematch.
But the only thing that warranted the rematch was him pointing and laughing at him.
It shows how top heavy that division is.
Yeah,
it's hugely top heavy.
It's so ironic, It's a light heavy division, and yet it's so top heavy.
Excellent joke.
Yeah, no, but I agree. Honestly, guys, do you guys know why they're making this fight?
Money.
Is that it? I mean, is Canada that much of a revenue stream where it's feasible to make a rematch for a fight that really draws? It's not warranted.
It must be because
how much money does Kovalev make really per fight?
I think probably like 1 to 1.5.
So he can say to Pascal, "I'll give you the rematch. I need 2.5." So he could make an extra $1 million.
Yeah, it's probably kind of the same situation with DeGale versus Butte, right?
Yeah. You need me to come to your country and fight, so pay me.
Again, like I think in Canada, this will probably be pay-per-view as well. So there's a bit more revenue there.
Yeah, that makes no sense. Who's fighting on the undercard?
I've not even looked, Not even looked at what the undercard is.
I'll look now.
You have a look, and I'll ask Dan about any highlights or lowlights of 2015.
Is that a question that you posed to Hamada and Leon?
Yeah, we were kind of going over a few things.
Okay.
Very loosely. Okay. There was no real structure to it.
Understood. I don't know. For highlights, I don't think there's too many. I mean, the biggest dud, obviously. I'll start with the low light. That was probably Mayweather-Pacquiao.
Yeah.
That sucked all of us in, and shit. I mean, it's insane numbers. I think I'll give credit to that in terms of the numbers. And I know most people who are listening don't give a shit about the numbers, but what they accomplished financially is unbelievable to me, even to this day. I still don't know how they made so much fucking money. I mean, the gate alone, the live gate was $72 million. That's fucking insane money. The most that the UFC ever drew for a live gate was $10 million. So this did 7.2 times the highest, raising a live gate in Nevada history, which is absolutely insane. But
well, Lim, I gave Floyd, he's my fighter of the year because he beat the number 2 guy.
Hey, and that's hard to argue against. I mean, how do you argue against that?
You don't, do you really?
Yeah.
However bad the fight was, he did what he said he was going to do, and he schooled him.
So who were some of the other candidates then that you guys mulled over?
I said my top 3 was Floyd, Fury, and McDonald.
McDonald. James McDonald. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's really no one else I can think of. I mean, definitely not Canelo. He fought dumbass Kirkland, and I mean, I'll give him decent credit for the Cotto fight, but I can't really think of anyone else. Any consideration for Golovkin?
Not tested. I mean, he looked good, didn't he? He looked great, but who's he fought really? We've got to be honest, haven't we? However much we like him and we get accused of being fanboys on this site, he hasn't fought anyone.
What about Chocolatito?
But again, I need him to fight Estrada. That's the fight will happen next year, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe that's just 2015 is just a transitional year, right? Where a lot of these guys, and we still want to see them fight the top names. It seems like, Golovkin, even Canelo, fucking Pascal, Stevenson, like all these guys, we just want to see them with the top of the competition. Thurman, Porter, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, when are these fights actually going to be fully realized? That's what I want to know.
It's got to be next year, hasn't it, for the PBC?
But that's what we said in 2014.
Yeah, I know. That's
what we said. And unfortunately, things just didn't really happen. I mean, I think the most hype we got on this panel was that Provodnikov-Matisse fight. We thought that was going to be a for sure fight of the year. And look at that fight. That fight wasn't that entertaining, I don't think. I think Lucas won that fight easily. So. And
then Lucas got starched out by Postol.
Yeah.
That's a good win, isn't it? For him.
Absolutely.
That's one of the best wins. That's one of the best wins of the year.
Is that biggest upset? What's biggest upset? Oh, probably Fury Klitschko. Is that biggest upset?
I would say so. Just on record, on paper.
No, I don't know, because a lot of people are going for Fury, though, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, but still, he's still the man, isn't he? Whatever anyone says about him slipping or anything, he was still, reign supreme for so long.
Fair. I don't know. 2015 was a strange year in boxing, man.
Yep.
How do you guys compare it to 2014?
I think it's worse.
Okay.
Which isn't good, is it?
The reason being is, I don't know if I was talking to you before the show, Dan, that... I think it was with Hamada, yeah. I was talking to Hamada before the show started, that in 2014, Heyman was picking up all these talent, and we didn't really know what his master plan was, and it was all finally revealed, so we kind of gave a pass for all the Cold Wars and all the issues because we thought we were going to get something better and the best were going to fight the best, but PBC hasn't lived up for it in the first year for me.
Yeah.
I know, and Compo keeps on saying we're being salty, but explain, I know he's just in the chat, but explain why it's been a good year for PBC.
Yeah, but Compo, when you have to do a show week in, week out and the fights are being shit.
That he hasn't gone through his, he probably struggled himself. watching all these fights. But I mean, there's so many fights as well.
For me,
for so many fights,
PBC should have been quality over quantity, and it wasn't. It was quantity over quality. So many cards, but it's like a cordial drink. You water it down too much, and you don't get the taste, and that's what PBC got watered down too much. It's Ribena.
Yeah, very diluted Ribena.
Or Vimto.
Yeah.
Dan, quickly, while you stepped away, we were talking about possible opponents for Billy Joe, and people mentioned Canelo. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I think from a style matchup, it's pretty tough for Canelo. Because honestly, I think Billy Joe is a fairly decently sized middleweight. So, and I'm not quite sure how Canelo's power transitions into middleweight. I think it's a fun fight. I think Canelo would eke out a decision win, probably on points.
But it's difficult for him because he doesn't like movers, does he?
Absolutely not.
So that I would be if that happened, because the fight we all want, I don't think it's going to happen next year. I don't think Triple G will fight Canelo next year.
Well, if that's true, then Canelo would have to relinquish his belt.
Yeah. That's more probable than the fight happening. To be honest, isn't it?
I don't know. I think the fight is going to happen towards the latter half of the 2016. What do you think, Cam? Do you think it's going to happen towards the end of 2016?
Nah, that fight's not happening.
Huh.
But do you think what do you think we get for Kovalev? Does he fight Ward? I mean, Ward's done nothing.
I think Ward needs that fight more than Kovalev needs that fight.
I completely agree. I think it's a good fight and so is the other.
Yeah, but I think
any of those three fighting.
I think Kovalev needs Ward as well. I mean, probably not to the same degree, but they still need each other pretty evenly. But I don't even know anymore. Like, why is the Stevenson fight not happening? Is it? I mean, there was like a purse bid fallout in the past, right? Wasn't there some situation where they tried to come to the table and negotiate, and something happened?
Yeah, there was a point, I think, where Cafe Duva pulled out of the purse bids or some shit, but it's one of those situations, when you follow it so much and then it doesn't get made, and you never read the articles. You're like, I'll just skip that reading that because it's going to be some technical bullshit that it doesn't affect me. So that's what most of the light heavyweight divisions become. It's like Pascal doesn't need to fight Kovalev again. Kovalev's only really got 2 names he needs to fight. Those fights are not happening, so I'm not interested in the politics.
Nah, neither am I. But I think one card we missed that should have been mentioned is that card in Russia, the Povetkin card from November. That had some great knockouts.
I could watch that card again,
That's card of, I think it might not be any of them fight of the years, but as a whole package, I think that was the best card I sat and watched from beginning to end, which has been far too many of them this year, Cam.
Yeah, we need some hobbies, bro.
This is my fucking hobby.
Yeah, we need another hobby.
Yeah, but that was, I think, value from beginning to end was fantastic card. With upsets. I mean, there's some of the upsets of the year.
Yeah, Chagiev getting stopped by Afolabi. Kudryashov, the murderer, getting beat by that Duradolo, man. That was a great fight, man. 2 rounds. That's the type of fights you want. Just quick fights that fucking end quick.
Well, that was the problem and they were leaving so much time between the fights. Bunce was dying on his ass on that card.
Yeah, Bunce had he ran out of topics to kind of kill time with.
He certainly did.
Yo, Leon, you and me had a conversation today or a couple of days ago about my boy, Argentinian boy, Cuenca.
Cuenca, yeah.
And my theory behind him losing to Travansky.
Yeah. I think there might be something in that. You can tell the people what you're thinking.
Yeah, basically, if Cuenca would have won that fight, he would have equaled Rocky Marciano's record of 49-0. So I'm thinking the Mafia got to him, man. They said to him, yo, you ain't winning this shit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Floyd's one thing.
So that was Jeremy Renner that did that, right?
Yeah, the reason why Dan's mentioning that because Ari's favourite actor, Jeremy Renner, has been cast to play Rocky Marciano in a new movie, man. What's going on? Why are all the fucking Hollywood milking all these...
boxing movies.
Yeah, it's not good, man. It's not good.
And what my concern is, they're never very good.
When's
the best one is...
When's that Hands of Stone coming out?
Oh, fuck knows.
Jeez, I don't know. Yeah, but the best boxing movie is probably... I'm so bad with names on this fucking podcast. The De Niro... Raging Bull.
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull was fantastic.
Somebody up there likes me? That old one? Is that Paul Newman film? I don't know if you've seen that. That's good.
No, I've never seen it.
The Fighter's really good.
Fighter's great, yeah.
Yeah, that's the best. I think that and Raging Bull. I mean, I've got no interest in the Creed movie, personally. I've only ever seen the first Rocky movie. I've never seen the rest of them.
What? Yeah. I'm hanging up on you.
I ain't watching Mr. T. I don't give a shit.
I ain't getting on a plane.
It's sacrilege, isn't it? I'm going to get attacked for this, but...
Yeah, you better just cancel your Twitter account now, because you're going to get bombarded with tweets tomorrow. All right,
I don't give a shit.
Let me get to the phone line, because we got someone on the line.
All black ski mask, love, tuck the thing. Ski mask swing.
I still got the black ski mask to throw on.
Ski Mask Joe.
Yo, what's going on, my boy Cam?
What's happening, Joe? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
We're doing good. Man. Yo, hey, Cam, you got the best intro for the bummiest caller, man. What's up?
Yeah, baby.
Is it just to make him feel good?
Yeah, just to even up the universe.
Boost my ego a little bit, man.
Yeah. What are you going to talk about, Joe?
Well, you guys were touching on some of the subjects, I guess, like Fight of the Year and... I guess, upsets of the year. I think the biggest upset, and I think nobody saw it coming, I think was probably Devin Alexander versus Aaron Martinez, right?
Yeah, but there has to be there has to be one qualification though, Ski Mask, for upset of the year. People have to actually give a shit about the fight.
True that.
I mean, nobody gives a fuck about Devin Alexander and his big-ass forehead. At least I don't.
No, he's been the most entertaining stuff he's done has been on Twitter this year.
No, but you are right, Joe, though. I think from a Vegas odds standpoint, that was probably up there.
I think the biggest upset of the year is... Oh, shit, my memory's totally gone blank. I was trying to do a good joke there, but I just totally collapsed on me. But, what else, Joe?
I think fighter of the year, I mean, year after year, I think it's like probably Floyd Mayweather, right? I mean, he's always breaking numbers, and I mean, as much as we don't really want to talk about the guy anymore after he's retired, but I mean,
no, you're right.
What it is.
It is what it is.
That Berto fight, though. Damn.
Yeah, man, but I just hope he doesn't. I just hope he doesn't come back, man, because I don't want to talk about him next year or Manny Pacquiao, right? But well, I guess we're gonna be forced to talk about Manny, right? So what is this about him?
Who's he fighting?
Bradley.
Well,
Bradley, yeah.
Is he fighting Bradley? Because now you have these fucking videos now on YouTube that I've been watching yesterday at work. Fucking Broner saying that Manny Pacquiao gave him a call, which I think is probably bullshit. I don't think he'll call out Broner.
He wouldn't phone Broner. Broner probably doesn't even have a phone.
I mean, Manny Pacquiao speaks better English than Broner does.
Fight of the year for me will probably be Solito versus Rocky Martinez, man. I mean, they gave us two good fight of the year this year.
No, I thought that fight was pretty bummy, man.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the Japanese guy versus
Miura.
I thought Miura. Yeah, I thought that fight was kind of very similar to the Solito Martinez fight, but with more skill. Because for Solito Martinez, I felt like they could have easily made the adjustments after the third or fourth round, either one of them, and they could have finished the fight, but they just refused to do so. Whereas Vargas Miura, I felt like was not only more action packed, but of a higher level, and also just the way it ended was amazing, man.
You think so? I mean, like, I honestly thought that Solito, even though he's under the radar, I think he's been fighting some pretty good fights these like last 2 years. I mean, he gave us him versus Turtsack, yeah, and then that was fight of the year back then. I think in 2014, right? And then him versus Rocky Martinez, like all three fights. I think it's pretty. I think he's pretty solid, right?
So which one?
They're entertaining as fuck.
Which fight do you favor? The first fight with Martinez or the second fight with Martinez?
I think the second one was okay, but I think the first one was just like brutal. The one in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that was the one.
I mean, the one in the Floyd undercard. I mean, that one was good too, but I felt like they kind of gassed. But I mean, they were still trading hard shots, man. That shit was just crazy.
I don't know, man. That to me is just like kind of bumminess. Like it's fun, but it's also bumminess. Being exposed, like just neither fighter making any kind of adjustment at all.
Just letting each other land on each other.
Yeah, it's just I don't really understand.
The fighter that shit the bed this year for me probably has to be Rigondeaux, man. He shit the bed. He had no fight whatsoever this year, and in the one fight that he gets is on pay-per-view. Fucking, you had almost 1 million people watching to like tune in, and you just fucking just shit the bed. Don't even fucking try to take the guy out. That's some fucking bullshit, dude. Like, he shitted the bed big time. And then to add extra insult, they stripped him from his belt. And then Nonito Donaire is back again, the champ of that belt. You know, so
I know. Hey, but at least he can make 108 now, because that was the only reason why he was getting up to 122 was because of that belt. I dislike everything about Rigondeaux, and trust me, I like his skills, but I hate just how small he is. I hate how action-packed his fights aren't. And I just hate something about his cheekbones. They just piss me off, man. I dislike the way he looks. He looks like a fucking alien.
He has like a big ass head and like a little small jaw with.
He looks like a homeless alien, you know. He's a straight up bum, man. Fuck Rigondeaux and fuck his skills too.
Out of all the Cuban fighters, I think I was talking to Nayota about this, man. Was I think Gamboa, even though he's pretty trash now too. Like, man, his fights are cringe. Like, they're cringeful to watch now. Him and Ortiz, I think they're the only ones that actually try to put pressure and like take the guys out or at least give us an entertaining fight. Other than that, like Lara, Rigondeaux, man, those guys are just like fucking just running circles and all this bullshit, man.
And the frustrating thing is they could do. All I want them to do is do more. They could get those guys out of there because they've got the skills to do it, but they just don't take any risks.
Yeah, man. Paper champ for sure of the year has to probably go to
Scott Quick.
Scott Quick. Nah, for me will probably be Deontay Wilder, man. This guy's fronting up and down like he's like the real heavyweight king.
Yeah, but that division is a mess, though. I think Broner's up there too, man.
Yeah, Broner's up there.
That bum ass has a fucking belt.
Yeah, that's a joke. That belt.
I guess the new paper champ of the year probably like it will probably be Paulie Malignaggi probably has to be up there, right? He didn't he just win like a British belt or some shit?
Yeah, but nobody gives a shit about that.
We don't even give a shit about that bum.
This guy's like flossing that shit around like it means something.
Well, no, it's the second tier belt in Europe. I mean, who gives a shit?
Fuck, man.
He's a joke. That fight was a joke.
All these boxing organizations are a fucking joke, man. Every single one of them. The WBC, the shit they're pulling off with Golovkin, Canelo, the IBF with Tyson, Klitschko. It's fucking, they're all bullshit belts.
All their belts.
Yeah, WBO, don't even get me started. That's the one Broner has. Count. Fuck them. All these fucking belts are ruining the fucking sport, man. All these fucking organizations is driving me crazy. It's ridiculous.
You know what?
Sorry, go on, Joe. Go on.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say, I've been one of the people who said on this podcast all year, I don't mind Golovkin, going after the belts, and I've kind of stuck to that. But
exactly,
I'm waning, man. I'm really waning.
All these fucking belts, they don't mean shit.
And then when Fury, who's chased the champion and got all the belts and won them fair and square, and then they ripped one off him within a week.
I kind of find that.
You've got a guy, he's the man, and you're going to take gold away from him.
Yeah.
You know, that was kind of bullshit right there. They didn't even let him like savor the win. You know.
Let's be honest. They don't want him to be because he says
It's
nothing.
like,
He's a maniac.
oh, this sport is such a conundrum because from the fighter's perspective, you do understand that. Yeah, I mean, their lifelong goal was to become a lineal champ in a weight division, and that's great. You know, I'm sure if my kid was a boxer, those would be my aspirations for my child as well. But
It's a history, I
if
guess.
the belts don't mean anything to begin with, what's the point of acquiring them? I mean, you know, people always point to guys like Bernard Hopkins who had, I think, 18 straight title defenses or something like that, some crazy shit like that, and they're pointing to that as a gold standard, and that's fine. But at the same time, that kind of deters us from the fights that we actually want to see. Because if you're going to spend your entire, you know, career at a weight division that I don't feel is that good, I think this weekend kind of proved that. You know, you got two of the top guys, Saunders and Lee, and that fight was absolute dog shit. So who else is left at middleweight for Golovkin to really fight? It's what, Danny Jacobs now? Okay. If he doesn't get that Jacobs fight, then who does he fight?
He runs, you know, he runs through them all. So it's just, I think he just needs to get on with it now. And I just want them all to get. I want Kovalev to get all the fights. I want all these guys who are chasing stuff to get their opportunity to have the best fights. And if it means dropping belts, then you just got to drop belts.
Yeah, man. For me, I think we got to give Elisa some credit, right? I guess to promoter of the year, I guess would probably be Golden Boy, right? You get all your fucking fighters snatched from under the rug, and then you come back, you have to rebuild, and then you're slowly getting your fucking place back in boxing, you know?
Yeah, but that's like looking at a pile of shit and saying which shit is the prettiest.
Yeah, I don't want. We shouldn't be giving out prizes to these people because all they're doing is doing their job.
Golden Boy just got lucky. That's all they did. Seriously, the way they got all their fighters snatched away from them, that's amazing. But think about it. Like a year and a half ago, he owned all of those Heyman fighters, and now he doesn't have any single one of them. It's unbelievable.
Man, that's just crazy, man.
I hate praising promoters for just doing their jobs to a reasonable standard. You know,
exactly.
It's just like
promoters, fuck Golden Boys, ski mask. They're the fucking promotional company. They're saying, "Oh, we just want to see the best fights get made. That's all we care about. We're trying to represent a new company." And yet they're putting Canelo in a fucking cage. They're not letting their Golden Boy fight nobody. They're like every single one of them. They're okay having their mid-level guys fight good names, but other than that, they're like the rest of them, man. Once they get an asset, they protect that shit to the very end.
Well, look at.
So you mean you're not excited for Canelo versus Gabe Rosado?
Fuck no. And if that fight gets made, I'm gonna have to shit on my boy Canelo because that's just a garbage ass fight. He's too pretty to get in the ring with a guy like that, you know?
Pretty boy gang.
But then you got to say PBC have got all the best welterweights in the world pretty much, and have any of them fought any fights that matter this year?
You know what, man? PBC, I want to give them credit because they have given us like some decent fights, but even though those some decent fights were fucking bullshit. For example, Danny Garcia versus Lamont Peterson. Yeah, we were all excited as fuck to like hear it, but when we heard about
we weren't that
some
excited
of us,
for
some
that
of us
fight.
were, but not all of us. But you know, some of us felt like it was probably a little bit too late, you know. But then what really like mind fucked the shit out of me was you know, they weren't fighting for the fucking belts. It was fucking like for a catch weight, and I was like, what the fuck is this shit, man? You know, so that was one. Broner versus Sean Porter. I kind of got excited for that fucking fight, but then when I heard that they weren't even fighting for like a regular weight class, they were like meeting at a catch weight and all this.
Exactly, like every big fight had a little asterisk attached to it.
Yeah,
that turned up people off from this fight, man. Like
these catch weights are ruining the sport, man. Canelo Cotto at 155, Miguel Cotto parading that belt around for the longest time, and yet fighting at 155. I mean, granted, Sergio was at 159, and then against the Australian bum, that was at 157, and against Canelo was at 155. This shit makes no fucking sense, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, and that's why I kind of loathe to criticize Triple G for wanting to sticking to his weight and going for the belts. But you got to fight the best, and if it means catch weights, I don't mind catch weights for good fights.
Just think about it from this perspective,
cross
Leon.
weight divisions.
You can have Canelo become a lineal middleweight championship, quote unquote, and yet fight at 155 his entire career.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know you're. But it's a kind of, you got to take both sides. It's going to happen. That's what I'm trying to say. It's difficult to live with it, but it's happening, isn't it?
It is, but 20 years down the road, no one's going to remember. They're going to say Miguel Cotto was a middleweight champion.
They invented 12 weights to stop catch, so there would be other belts, didn't they, over the years? So we don't need any more. There's enough weight divisions to be making weight.
It is an interesting discussion, though. I mean, I honestly, I don't mind seeing fighters get in the ring with each other if a catch weight is made, as long as I know the best fights are being made. But when the best fights aren't being made, and yet there's catch weights on top of it, it just kind of dilutes the sport, like we discussed earlier.
You're right.
Yeah, man.
In addition to that, though, I think what's even more interesting is that with all these belts currently on the line, I don't think there's many fighters that really care about unifying. These fighters, they don't care about paying these sanctioning fees. Like these belts, it's just more of like I don't even know what it does anymore. I don't even know if it has negotiating power.
It's just an accessory, man. Yeah, and then like what you said, it's a negotiating power. It's like a tool that you could say, okay, well, I'm a champion at this weight class, and I deserve a little bit more money, type of shit. Like you want to fight me, well, you have to cough up a little more. I'm a champion at this specific weight belt class, like the fuck.
But I just think it wouldn't take much work for the governing bodies to sort this out, but they'd be making less money, so they don't want to. If there's just 4 belts, and if there's 4 belts in each division and no other belts, and you just have to fight your way up, you become number 1, you get the fight, but it's not going to happen, is it?
And I thought Thurman said he was going to make a big announcement yesterday on his Twitter. And then when he went on NBC Sports Network, he just said, "I just want to thank all the fans for nominating me Fighter of the Year." And that's all he said.
That's a big announcement.
That was a big. It's frustrating because there's so many good fights there.
Oh man! Speaking of Twitter, man, anybody catch those?
We are going to get that Porter Furman fight will happen, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but it's probably going to take place at 144.5 pounds.
No, they can't do that.
In the UK because it doesn't sell anywhere else.
Yeah, but Porter can weigh 146 if he decides to keep his hair. That'll be a stipulation.
Loser has to shave his head.
And the fight has to take place in either San Antonio or San Diego exclusively.
San Diego.
That's the weirdest thing about PBC. You're over there. So you and Joe are over there, Lim. So it would make more sense. What is there any thought pattern to where his fights take place?
Whose? Porter's or Heyman's?
PB.
Yeah, Heyman's. It makes no fucking sense, right?
I have no idea. Putting him in like in random ass spots. I mean, for us, like the ones that like live in the bigger cities, it's like what the fuck, dude. But then I guess for the people that do live in smaller towns or smaller cities, it's like okay, cool, we get to go watch boxing, but.
Yeah, but it makes no sense.
You see the result of it. Like there's no fucking boxing fans there,
Darrell versus Butte in fucking Boston. Who the fuck thought of that?
I mean,
Broner versus Porter, in Vegas. Yeah, these daytime cards, exactly. It makes no sense.
Which used to work in the 80s and used to work back in the day, but that's probably because there was a lot less entertainment available. These days, I mean, Frampton, it looked like he fought in front of about 400 people.
Yeah, but
and and
then he's selling out 10 to 12,000 tickets easy. I mean, how difficult was it to get a Frampton Quig ticket, Cam?
That's the shit I don't get, man. Like, fucking putting these cards in the afternoon. Like, who the fuck is this? Like, who is he trying to like get viewers from, man? Fucking people in the convalescent home that just have their fucking TV set on one channel. What the fuck? Man?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's from the 80s when you only had 4 or 5 channels.
Why doesn't Heyman promote in the UK?
He's got Eddie Hearn for that.
Right, but he hasn't done a single PBC card in the UK, and I'm just wondering, why not do like a dual joint effort, to promote Frampton in Ireland or wherever it may be. I don't get it.
You would think it makes sense, but I don't know. I don't know what his master plan is.
Maybe this guy's just a fucking idiot.
Take over the world.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know, man. Yeah, but this year I'm not quite sure. Even fighter of the year, fights of the year. I don't know, man. There's always good fights every year, obviously, but at the same time, the year has just been so shitty, especially after the Mayweather Pacquiao card. It seemed like everything just kind of dovetailed after that.
Yeah, I agree. They sound like we're being salty and haters, but very disappointing, yeah.
Like Cotto Canelo was dog shit, man. It wasn't dog shit. I take that back. I'm just disappointed because you guys know I'm a big Canelo fan, but I really felt that Canelo should have stopped Cotto, and he was there for the taking, and I was really disappointed that he was the more aggressive.
Yeah, true that, man.
My highlight of the year was Rob Palmer saying that Black Ski Mask Joe's dad is the most best looking man in the world.
Yeah, man.
We still haven't seen proof, Joe. And I know Chemo's been pressing you for the pictures. Yeah. I know Chemo's been pressing you for the pictures, Joe, but where
Don't
they
send
at?
them to him. He's a pervert, Joe. He's a pervert.
Yeah, that Chemo Chemo's a creep, man. He's a fucking weirdo. He's a weirdo. I don't know. He's gone through some weird, I think, mental issues ever since he got to Dubai. He's fucked up.
All right, boys. Shall we wrap it up? You guys got any final thoughts for me? Joe?
Well, final thoughts is I hope 2016 will be better, but I know boxing is probably going to take a bigger dive. So, with that said, I think I'm probably out.
Thank you, Joe.
Are you probably out, or are you 100% sure out?
Well, no, I'm in it. I'm in it to watch it, but man, I don't know, man. Just boxing is just like slowly turning into dog shit, man. Each year by people doing catch weights, these fucking fights not being made. I think we had 2 solid years, 2014 and 2015, where we had like 3 or 4 probably significant fights out of the whole year. Like, the fuck is this, man? We have 12 fucking months where people could just be fighting and making a name for themselves like the good old days, but motherfuckers are not doing it, man, and promoters are not wanting to do their job, or they're just scared to make their fighter lose their precious, like, undefeated record. It's like fucking bullshit now, man.
Great point, Joe. Totally agree.
It's like Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. How long have they been inactive for?
And how long have they been promoting that fight, man? Since 2014.
Kell Brook. When's the last time Kell Brook fought? Who's he fighting now? Who's he fighting next?
He fought in May, but he was supposed to fight Chavez, but he got that injury.
Yeah,
these guys should be fighting every 4 months.
Well, I thought that was the idea of PBC, that they were going to get 4 or 5 fights a year. That fell apart.
Yeah, I remember Broner saying I'm going to be fighting 4 times a year, and that didn't happen, did it?
Yeah.
He's probably looking at that Jay-Z money like, fuck, I fucked up.
Should have signed up.
Yeah, because wasn't he like gonna give him like 60 million or something like that?
I think that
there was a lot of money being bandied around.
Yeah, I think most of it is probably just not even a proper offer, just stuff getting thrown about. But
yeah, they were just getting checks, man. Fucking Miguel Cotto, Andre Ward, man, those guys are smart. They came up, man, because I think the Jay-Z promotion shit is gonna crumble within its feet, man.
Yeah, I can't see them being too successful.
They're fucked. Their top 3 names are Regan Dow, Cotto, and fucking Andre Ward. Jesus Christ, man. Even
that fucking promotional company really for sure is about to like crumble within their fucking feet.
Even Bob Arum, Don King, and the best promoters of all time couldn't save that shit, man. That's a terrible roster to work with. You got one guy who's about to fucking retire. You got another guy who's the most boring fucking fighter in the world. And then you got another guy who's close to it. He's 1B in terms of the most boring fighter in the world. So
he just
good luck with that. And they tried to hide that by having Fabulous or some other washed up rapper perform in between fights. Good luck with that shit. Singing "Holla Back" and nobody's hollering back.
Lim, any final thoughts?
No, I mean I'm just salty. I've been watching boxing on and off. Definitely not as consistently like I used to. I still love the sport. I still go to the gym, 4 or 5 times a week. I still love the sport. It's just hard when the fights that you really, really want to see just don't come into fruition. And, it's still a beautiful sport. I still think it's better than, MMA, from like a aesthetics perspective, but it's just hard, man, when these fights don't, come into fruition. But I still love being on the show. That's definitely the best part. My Monday every week, and probably the reason why I still watch the sport is to talk with you guys.
Definitely my highlights on Mondays, linking up with you guys and having a chat on Skype and enjoying the conversations. Leon, any final thoughts from you, sir?
I second all of that and all the stuff, just fucking around on Twitter and stuff. That's been the best thing about, for me. I used to watch boxing on my own, no one, back in the day, and no one cared about the sport. So it is great. The best thing about it is doing the podcast without being too overly emotional.
Hey, you know what, man? Boxing is turning into such fucking shit. I feel like we gotta do like a nomination of the best troll or best meme of the fucking year, because I think that's like the best highlights of like this year. Like who has made the better meme than anybody else, like pertaining to like a fighter,
My picture of the year is that one of Joe Gallagher jumping in the middle of a ring where it looks like he's like pulling ballet moves. that was amazing.
You had to shit on Sir Joe, didn't you?
Oh no, but that picture was classic, Cam.
It was.
I always had to shit on Joe.
It looked like he won the fucking belt or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, guys. I want to thank all you guys on the show today. I want to thank all the people in the chat and all the people that download the show week in, week out. Like I said earlier, we'll be back in mid-January. Don't forget to put your picks in Thursday onwards for next week's final fights of this season's Predictions League. And lastly, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Set some goals, positive thoughts. 2016 is another year. If you got targets in mind, make sure you try and aim for them. Make sure you try and complete them. And that's about it.
Lower your salt levels.
Yeah. Don't go to
and
the GP.
And this is Mystic Dan. I predict these things. Yeah.
Peace.
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Dude, man, I love boxing. I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flymate in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically burn you, blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the song, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos a Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in them.
I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
Feels great. Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass. Just to play devil's advocate.
You want 1 portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish.
Cringe side? But you won't crush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you? He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you weighed for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition. We are live every Monday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. UK time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.